I wonder what kind of boss you've had in the past or have now. We'll all have had a mixture of good and bad bosses or teachers or people that set us tasks, that delegate to us. And I'm really privileged to have generally had brilliant bosses. And actually the kind of people that delegate something to you, but they don't just say, here you go off and do this. They say, I will stay alongside you as long as you need. I will give you all the resources you need in order to do it. I will equip you because I want you to succeed. And we all know the difference that makes when we know that the person that is delegating to us wants us to succeed. They're not setting us up for failure. And recently I was reflecting on this and I read some verses and it reminded me of the kind of boss that God is. He's the kind of boss that everyone wants because he's the kind of boss that wants us to succeed. He sets us a task and he desperately wants us to do it. He wants us to join in with him and work with him. He's not just saying, oh, lay around and do nothing and I'm going to make your life a lie around easy kind of thing. He is setting us work to do and sometimes they're daunting tasks, but he's saying, I will stay with you alongside those tasks. And I wonder what you've recently felt like. Maybe, I don't know if I can do this. This is so difficult, or I'm not even sure what I'm meant to be doing. And actually, I think this is an encouragement for anyone who's been thinking, I'm not sure if I can do this. And there's a passage in Chronicles, 1 Chronicles 28. And it begins, it's in verse 9, David is talking to his son and basically commissioning his son to say, God has asked you to build this temple. And he begins by saying, and you, Solomon, my son, know the God of your father and serve him with a whole heart and with a willing mind. For the Lord searches all hearts and understands every plan and thought. If you seek him, he will be found by you. And you might think, but why? Why would Solomon want to follow the God of his father? Why would he want to do the task that God had set him? It was a huge task. If you look at the temple that he was to build and the nation that he was to govern, it was a huge task. Why would he want to do that? Wouldn't he just be quaking in his boots at the thought of that? But David finishes that passage, and someone gave me this verse in the scrolling Menti messages at the end of the service where I was commissioned into my new role, and I thought this was a really encouraging verse. David says to Solomon, be strong and courageous and do it. Do not be afraid and do not be dismayed. Why? For the Lord God, even my God, is with you. He will not leave you or forsake you until all the work for the service of the house of the Lord is finished. This is the God that we follow. This is our boss in life, if you will, over all the other ones that we have. He's a boss that does not forsake us, that stays alongside us. If we'll do the tasks that he's delegated to us, he will stay there beside us, making sure that we succeed. And so it's an encouragement. Go for it. Do it. Find out what you're meant to be doing. Ask him who you're meant to be caring for, who you're meant to be loving, where you're meant to be bringing love and joy and his kingdom, where you're meant to be praying for, or who and what situations you're meant to be a part of. And go for it. Don't be afraid, because he's there beside you, equipping you, giving you the resources, holding your hand through those situations. He won't abandon you. He doesn't delegate and run off. He's there with you. And just one more challenge, a verse that I read today in my Bible reading. And it's a passage where Paul is on his way to Rome and he's had a horrendous trip there. All kinds of things have happened, shipwreck, snake bite, and he's a prisoner. And he could be totally discouraged, and he probably was a bit discouraged. But we read when he arrives on land, almost at Rome, we read, and the brothers there, so the Christians that were nearby, when they heard about us, so Paul and his friends, came as far as the Forum of Appius and the 3 taverns to meet us. On seeing them, Paul thanked God and took courage. So let's be a people that gather round like those brothers did to Paul. When we hear of someone who's discouraged, go and meet them. Go and meet them for a walk. Give them a call. Help people to take courage. And are we lacking in courage? Then I'd encourage us to talk to God, who is there beside us, encouraging us, but also to talk to a fellow Christian and say, could you go for a walk with me? I need someone to encourage me in this. We're here in this together. We're building God's kingdom with him and with each other. Let's be united. Let's encourage each other and let's take courage